You are listening to A Scary State, and this week we're talking about Texas. So, Lauren?
Yes, Kenzie.
Let's get scary.
This is when us saying y'all will actually sound okay.
Does it not normally?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
I just say it all the time, so now it will actually fit.
Yeah, with the location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, versus the other places. It's still y'all, but they probably don't say y'all.
No. Other places say like yins.
That's Pennsylvania.
And
most people say use you guys.
I don't like that. No, actually, I do like that. I say that.
Yeah, sometimes I say you guys.
But I say
usually,
y'all.
I feel like I say you guys if I'm trying to get someone's attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys. Something like that.
But otherwise.
Yeah. I usually say y'all when I'm speaking about a group.
Mm-hmm. I just say it when I'm leaving. I'm like,
Bye,
see y'all
y'all.
tomorrow.
Oh, I say it all the time, especially if I'm mad at my children. Y'all have lost your damn minds.
And Mom grew up in Texas. Well, she spent a little bit of time in Texas, so I think that's where I get it from.
Oh, I know exactly what I do. My aunt lived in Texas on and off for a while, and she started saying y'all. She doesn't have a Southern accent, but she started saying y'all. And I was like, well, I want to be cool like my Aunt Mary. And so I started saying y'all, and now it's a habit.
Does she say Warsh?
Nope.
Oh, my
No.
mom does. I don't know where she gets that from. Like Washington, D.C.
I think that's like, I feel like people in Maryland do that too, like Baltimore.
With the R's?
Yeah.
Huh.
Or like New England.
Maybe, but she's never lived in any of those places.
Where are your grandparents from, though?
Grandma's from New Jersey.
Mm.
Papa's from Portugal.
Okay, well.
And then he went to school up in like the northern places.
Yeah.
Okay. That could be. That
Because,
could
like,
be.
my dad grew up in New Orleans, but he doesn't have a Southern accent because
Right.
my grandfather was from Wisconsin and my
Oh.
aunt was from upstate New York.
Ah.
So
What a combination of an accent there.
they didn't have any accents.
Oh.
It's all just, I don't know. Well, I mean, I wouldn't consider them having accents.
Right.
I don't know if someone else listening to them would.
Like, I don't consider us having accents, but when Joe's family from Massachusetts met me, they said I had a Southern accent.
Yes. Northerners are very picky.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, trust me, I do not.
I said that too. I was like, this is not a Southern accent.
Yeah, for sure.
And he even tried to say, they were like, oh, like you married a like Southern girl. And he goes, nope. And they're like, well, it's Virginia. And he goes, Northern Virginia, not the same.
And you don't know unless you come here. Like, I can understand why everyone's like, oh, it's Virginia, it's the South. It's like, yeah, but it depends on where you go.
Where in Virginia? Because not all of it is considered Virginia. We are Northern Virginia.
Yeah, we're on our own. We're at the top of the state, the most elite. The closest to the capital. There was something else I wanted to tell you. It was like a fun fact. No.
Don't worry, it'll pop into your mind in the middle of like one of these random facts.
Yeah, if you say something that makes me remember
Exactly.
it.
And it's going to be like the most random word too that makes you remember it.
We should name our ghosts.
What do you want to name yours?
I don't know.
We have these cute little ghost pillows that Mackenzie got us, and they sit right on our chairs when we record.
Either as a somewhat of a backrest.
A little bit. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I want to say Franklin, but I don't think he's a Franklin.
Be Franklin and Jeremy.
Why Jeremy?
I don't know. It goes with Franklin.
Theodore? No.
Theodore, I think of a teddy bear.
Because I like the name Theo.
I can't do Theo.
Why? Is there a person who is a Theo? Oh, okay, yeah, we're not going to do Theo.
Don't look at me, Theo. Don't look at me. Remember San Diego?
Oh my God. That is a story we will not share.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so funny. Okay.
It can't be
Theo. We'll keep brainstorming.
Yeah. We'll come up with something by the end of this.
We're going to come up with like a really like Southern name because we're in Texas.
Yeah, right.
All right. So let us begin. Twisting and turning down the North American continent for 2,000 miles, the Rio Grande is more than a large and winding river.
What's a song?
And she dances. Yeah.
Yes, that one. Yes.
It serves as the international border between the United States and Mexico for more than 1,000 miles, and about 1/4 of that boundary is within Big Bend National Park. The Big Bend refers to the area where the river switches suddenly from flowing in a southeastern direction to a northeastern direction. The park spreads out over more than 800,000 acres and is home to thousands of species of mammals, plants, and reptiles. Its hiking trail system is more than 150 miles long, and the water level is ideal for canoeing. I'm not good at canoeing and kayaking. I learned.
No, you get tired.
I tried and I kept hitting Joe's oars, and then he said to stop. So I said, okay. So I just like sat in the front and just enjoyed it. And then we're coming back in, and then there was a storm coming, and he's like, oh shit. So he's like trying to paddle really quickly to get us in. And I said, I'm not going to help because I'll just mess this up even more. We got out just in time. It was very scary.
How do you fuck up paddling?
I don't know. I like can't do the whole like when it's all one thing. I can't do the whole like this one and this one at this like when you have to like do the little
that's
twisty with your wrists.
easier because with the one side you gotta lift it up and lift.
I feel like I'd be better at that because then I wouldn't be bonking him with the mine and his and
Well, unless you do like you do one side and he does one side.
right. I could do that.
Yeah.
I can row.
Yeah.
At least the practice I have is on a rowing machine, but you know I could do it.
Oh, I just can't do it. I mean, I can do it, but I get tired. So it gets to a point where it's not enjoyable at all.
Like this is too much working
Because
out.
pretty much I'm keeping my arms up the whole time. That's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that is not ideal for you.
no. Anyway.
People first came to the area that is now Texas at least 16,700 years ago. Thousands of years later, Native American tribes, including the Akokisa, Karankawa, Mogollon, and Comanche, lived on the land. Texas became an
I
independent.
just like to see you suffer.
Thank you. Texas became an independent nation called the Republic of Texas in 1836, but fending off hostile tribes and Mexican troops was difficult for a small country, and Texas joined the United States in 1845. In 1861, Texas left the Union and rejoined after the Civil War ended in 1870.
Let's talk about a toxic ex. You keep coming back.
They want to leave again.
Go ahead. That's fine. You can go.
But then we were thinking about it. You would need a passport to go to Texas.
I wouldn't go.
And if you lived in Texas, you would need a passport to go anywhere else in like the United States.
Mhm.
So I don't think that's a very good idea for them. But
For them, sure. No, it's stupid as hell, but go ahead.
and then if they break off, then Virginia can split into Southern Virginia and Northern Virginia.
That'd be lovely.
And then we could be our own state.
That'd be lovely.
But I think California would probably get it before we do.
Split?
Yeah,
It needs to be.
it does. It's way too big.
Way too big.
Yeah.
And like you can have a big state, but you can't have a big state and a lot of people.
Yeah. That takes up like the whole coast. So up
Yeah.
here you have like cold mountains and down here you have like hot beaches.
And a desert somewhere in between.
Yeah. They just split it based on all of the weather.
Yeah, right.
Those are the states.
Exactly. Perfect.
But we're at a really nice 50 right now. And if we go anywhere else,
Yeah. We got to keep it even,
we do.
which means we can't even have like 45. I could think of 10 states easy off the top of my head that I'd be willing to get rid of to make it 40.
Yeah. I can think of a couple. But we love all the states because they're all scary.
We love portions of them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
We love the people that live in those states as long as they're good people.
Yes.
Yeah. But as a whole, when you look at their individual systems as a state, we don't like them.
I think that's a good view to have.
Thank you. Of sound mind.
Yeah. In Texas. You might spot black bears, armadillos, coyotes, cougars, endangered cats called jaguarundis, tiger salamanders, and leopard frogs.
Do you think they're jaguars wearing undies?
Obviously.
Obviously.
There's nothing else it could be.
Nope.
And don't miss the birds. Texas has more species of birds than any other state, including screech owls and hummingbirds.
Which is also makes sense because Texas is also fucking huge.
Oh, it's so big.
It's huge.
It's one of those things that you don't realize how big it is.
One of the facts that I read, but I didn't put it on here, so it just sounds like I'm smart. They said that if Texas was its own country, it'd be fourth largest in size by landmass for a country.
So what this means is...
So what this means is you have a list of 200-something fucking countries,
Oh, wow.
and it's number 40 in terms of
40 or 4?
40.
You said 4.
I said 4?
Yeah.
40.
Because I was like,
4D.
damn, 4?
4D.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But wow.
It's second only to Alaska.
What, of states?
In terms of land, like size by land mass, not by population.
Per state?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So Alaska's our biggest state
Yeah.
via land, and
Mhm.
Texas is second. And then I forget I don't know what our most populous one is, but I'm sure it's one of the obvious ones.
Yeah, probably.
So
Though you might have heard of Texas's oil rigs, hundreds of them pump beneath the earth, the state is also famous for another natural resource, cattle. Texas has about 12 million cattle, more than any other state in the country. Texas also produces wool and cotton and has one of the largest wind power producing farms in the world, with more than 100,000 acres of wind turbines. At one point, the turbines provided 45% of the state's electricity needs. Have you seen how big those things are?
Literally just going to fucking say that.
They're huge.
Yes.
Huge.
Huge.
You
Yeah.
wouldn't even think they're that big, but if you
Yeah.
see a person standing on
Oh
one,
my
you're like,
God.
oh my God.
Yeah, oh yeah. They're huge.
It's one of those things where it's scary how big it is.
Yes, correct. Well, it also doesn't help that it has like rotating blades at the top.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's so close to Mexico, Texans have developed a cuisine that's a mix of Mexican food and American cooking called Tex-Mex. Amazing.
Go figure.
Want to feel like a cowboy? Visit one of Texas's thousands of ranches and rodeos.
Oh my God, this is about to be my favorite fact. The one you're about to read. Go.
Okay. 6 flags have flown over Texas: British, French, Mexican, Texan, United States, and Confederate. That's how Six Flags Amusement Park got its name. That's cool.
I didn't know that.
Was it like founded in Texas then?
I guess, yeah.
Wow.
I know.
I hope they don't. Well, I guess
Mhm.
you can't really change it to 5 flags now.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Ugh. Well, you can make it the American. No, we already have that there. No. Okay.
We don't have enough branches in the military, right?
Yeah, we do.
6?
Oh, 6. Air Force,
Mm-hmm.
Space Force.
Do they have their own flag, though? I thought they were part of Air
Nope,
Force.
they have their own flag.
Okay.
Army, Navy, Marines,
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard.
Oh, so you could still make it 6 flags and just put their flags in and stuff.
I like that more.
Yeah.
Yep. There are 3 power grids in the U.S., one for states east of the Rocky Mountains, one for states between the Pacific and the Rocky Mountains, and one for Texas. The Texas power grid was established during World War II to make sure all of the Texas factories producing critical war supplies were self-sustainable. That's wild.
Yeah. It's also terrifying that the grids cover such a large section.
Yeah. Where
So-
are the Rocky Mountains?
Like, right. Like, they could come over this way.
Oh, wow. So ours is like a huge grid.
Mhm.
The other side of the United States is a small grid.
So we have the Appalachian.
Appalachian,
Not
Appalachia,
That-
not Appalachian.
Not that one. And so what happens is there's something called rain shadow. And so the water that normally comes in from like the coasts, when they get to the mountains, it ends up like condensing and then it doesn't fall on the other side.
Oh, yeah, that's why a lot of times you don't get snow because the mountains.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And why it's so dry.
Oh.
And why majority of the United States population lives east of the Mississippi.
Interesting. Well, it's also the best coast, but
Well, yeah. I mean, besides that,
besides the
the
obvious.
less obvious ones.
The deadliest natural disaster in United States history occurred in Texas. The Great Galveston Hurricane of 1900 took between 6,000 and 12,000 lives with a storm surge of 8 to 15 feet, 2.4 to 4.5 meters. The next deadliest hurricane in U.S. history was Hurricane Katrina, which claimed 1,200 lives. Did you hear about the earthquake that just happened in Taiwan?
No.
An earthquake, like big, like 7.9 something earthquake just hit Taiwan.
Mhm.
And Japan was under tsunami watch.
Oh my God.
Isn't that terrifying?
That is terrifying.
So they were sending out a ton of people like to go like help, like
Yeah.
the AIDS. I can't think of
Red Cross.
like ones like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It just happened like last night.
Everywhere's got something.
It's very scary. Located in Bracken Cave, the largest known North American bat colony has over 200 million bats, which is more than the entire human population of Mexico City.
What this
means
is
The largest known urban bat colony is also located in Texas over Lady Bird Lake in Austin. I have wanted to go to that cave actually because I heard about it in Texas and I was like, that's kind of cool. I would love to see it. I'd be scared of rabies, but I'd still want to see it. The fastest road in the United States is located in Austin. In a rural stretch located between Austin and San Antonio, the speed limit of a 40-mile or 64-meter stretch of toll road is 85 miles per hour or 137 kilometers per hour. Texas also has the fastest average legal speed at 78.3 miles per hour or 126 kilometers per hour. If Texas were its own country, it would be the 40th
No, I
largest.
did include this.
40th largest in landmass. Well, here's more
Area.
inland area. Here's more specifics for you.
Yeah.
With an area of 268,820 square miles or 696,240 square kilometers, Texas is second only to Alaska's landmass. Wow, we've heard that twice today.
Just jumping the gun.
And you were like, I didn't add this because I wanted to feel smart.
No, I thought I didn't add it. I don't remember why I thought I didn't add it because there was some on there that I was like, no, that's stupid.
Well, that one was a fun one. King Ranch, located in Kingsville, is larger than the state of Rhode Island.
What this means is
sprawled across 825,000 acres, King Ranch is home to over 200 quarter horses and over 35,000 heads of cattle.
No, I'm just shaking my head as in like, that's insane.
Yeah, that is insane. The ranch reaches into 6 different counties and was designated as a National Historic Landmark in 1961. The Helium Centennial Time Columns Monument was built in 1968 in honor of the 100th anniversary of the discovery of helium. One of the time capsules sealed on the monument is set to open 1,000 years from that date and has a passbook to a bank account with a $10 bill. It's expected to be worth $1 quadrillion by the time it's opened in 2968. Wow.
I know, right? Isn't that cool?
Inflation.
Yeah, right. From $10.
Jeez. Have you ever done the thing where you like inhaled helium?
All the time.
I never have done it.
Why?
Because when I was younger, okay, people who don't know me, I'm like a hypochondriac and I'm like super, super like nervous about things. So the Mythbusters did this one
I don't
thing
think they have to know you to know that.
forever ago. Forever ago, where they were like, it like condenses your lungs. And I was like, oh my God, that's
it's
so
definitely
scary.
not good for you.
But then, so just from then, I've never done it. And then we've gotten to the age where now there's just not really helium balloons that people are just sucking.
That is correct. You're right. Oh, you know what? It might have been that sound. If like my glasses had hit this, it just did that. So I wonder if that was the sound.
That weird noise we heard in the recording. I don't know. We hear some weird noises.
I just thought of that when I did it.
I don't think it was that for some reason because I don't remember you hitting your glasses last time.
I mean, me neither, but
it could have happened.
Could have happened.
But yes, that's Texas.
Mm-hmm. Everything was like, Texas has the biggest blah, blah, blah. Texas has the biggest blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's so annoying.
Right.
Like
everything's bigger in Texas. We get it.
And I was like, damn it. It's like literally, like they're not just being annoying.
They're like, we can like substantiate this claim.
Yeah. Like, damn it.
Well, that's Texas, y'all.
That's Texas, y'all. What spooky tea you pouring, Lauren?
So today I have a urban legend and a haunted location.
All tied into one?
All tied into one.
Love it. I love a 2-for-1 special.
I do too. And I feel like in Texas, I always choose something like that. Like my first was like Black Eyed Kids. And I had the Candy Lady.
Oh, yeah.
That one was
God. Okay.
And now I have Goatman's Bridge.
I remember Candy Lady. I didn't like her.
I know, but that was such a fun one.
You
screamed. It was amazing.
Scary.
We had the warning at the beginning. Please watch your ears. All right. So Denton County was formed in 1846. And
I'm already nervous.
There's creepy parts in here. And I was like, ooh, Mackenzie's not going to like this. And in 1848, Alton served as the Denton County seat. So it was just pretty much the capital city of the county.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have those? No.
What?
Well, here they do. But in general, counties don't have capitals, right?
Well, I don't think so.
They have like...
But in the 1800s,
city council, mayor.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's just of the county. Or is it of the town?
I don't know.
I'm asking too many questions. Go ahead.
Questions that I just don't know the answers to.
I was actually, I think the reason I'm asking so much is because I was just thinking about that the other day.
Weird.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those thoughts.
Yeah. Oh,
I was just,
2 counties have capitals.
I was trying to think of like, what would the capital of like each county be around here?
Why?
I don't know. Whatever I was doing clearly made me think of it.
Some people count sheep. Some people think of counties.
Exactly.
So the town was renamed at a different location. So they chose a different location named Alton.
Okay.
And designated the 3rd county seat in November of 1850. Soon the town grew, and by 1856, it had a few homes, a blacksmith shop, 3 stores, a school, a saloon, a hotel, 2 doctors, several lawyers, and of course a church.
Bustling.
Yes, it was. The county seat was soon moved to Denton. With this move, business in Alton began to suffer as many of the businesses moved to Denton, the new county seat.
What does that mean when you say county seat?
The city capital. Or the capital city of the county.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So fine. Yeah, I didn't know what that meant either. When I
Yeah.
was doing this, I was like, what is that?
What seat are they taking? Are they playing musical chairs?
Is this a throne?
I don't understand.
Finally, in May of 1859, the post office closed its doors, symbolic for what had become of Alton. Only one person still resided in the town, so it literally had a population of 1, with only 2 other things remaining: the Hickory Creek Baptist Church and the Old Alton Cemetery, with graves that dated back to 1852. So at this point, Alton was pretty much deemed a ghost town. And then in 1884, the Old Alton Bridge was built by the King Iron Bridge Manufacturing Company as a way to connect Denton and Copper Canyon. When it was originally built, it only carried horses over Hickory Creek, but later was able to support automobiles.
Question.
Yes.
Where is this county? Like, what's it close to in terms of major city?
Nothing told me. It always just said, like, right outside of Alton, right outside of this. Let's look at a map. Oh, it's like way down here near Mexico.
Oh, like on the little tippy thing? Or like over here?
Like right here.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, like way down at that tippy thing. That's
down.
like where Alton
Way down
is.
south.
Way down south.
The south.
And we do talk about the south. Bet you can't guess what I'll be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, when it was originally built, it was able to support automobiles. But it was a 1-lane bridge at the time, so motorists were required to honk to alert anyone on the other side that they were crossing.
I don't know why you would leave it up to people to do that.
No, it's so bad.
Like,
so this bridge was used constantly from like 1884 until 2001.
that's a long time.
I know. So at that point, vehicle traffic was moved to an adjacent concrete and steel bridge, one with more lanes and one that could better support the weight of the cars.
Okay.
So today, the Old Alton Bridge is used for hiking and equestrian trails and is a popular spot for nature enthusiasts and photographers. On July 8th, 1988, it was added to the National Register of Historic Places. So for some time, the bridge had been referred to as the Old Alton Bridge, but it also has another more popular name, Goatman's Bridge. So for years, frightening and ghostly encounters and experiences have been reported on the bridge, making it a popular spot for ghost hunters and authors who want to write about the paranormal. It is rumored to be one of the most haunted places in all of America.
Oh my God.
I bet you're shocked.
I'm truly speechless.
So the story surrounding the bridge and how it got its name goes like this. Oscar Washburn and his family, made up of his wife and 2 children, tended to a farmstead goat herd near the bridge.
Set it to a what?
A farmstead goat herd.
Oh.
So like a homestead, a farmstead,
Yeah.
goats. They lived in a wood shanty with a tin roof right next to the farmstead, not far from Alton Bridge and Hickory Creek.
What's a shanty?
Just like a little not like a shack, but like kind of a little house, like a wooden little house.
Okay.
The farmstead was renowned for its quality meat, milk, cheeses, and hides. With all the success of Oscar's farm and having the reputation of being a dependable and honest businessman, he got the nickname of the Goatman. So nothing mean in the nickname, just truly he tended to goats and had amazing products.
I'm not going to lie. When you first started talking about it, I was like, I really hope this is one of those things where it just happens to be a man with a goat and not a man who's turned into a goat.
Yeah, it's just a man with a goat who has like a goat farm.
Yeah.
So Oscar, proud of his work and his success, hung a sign on the Old Alton Bridge that read, quote, "This way to the Goatman." It was hard to find his place off of the bridge, so this sign would help business and help all of those people who wanted to visit find him.
Okay.
And the sign served its purpose. It led many customers to his home, making him a very popular man. Well, the thing was, Oscar and his family were African Americans, and the KKK in the area was furious with his success. How dare a black man succeed while others are struggling? Of course, the Great Depression is still very much a thing at this point because it's like the 1930s. So how dare he not be suffering like the rest of them? So the KKK could not stand seeing a man of color succeed, so they decided to put a stop to it. The tipping point was the sign that he had proudly hung on the bridge. One evening, while Washburn was home with his family, a group of KKK members came to the shanty carrying torches. They demanded that Washburn come out of his house. Washburn did, with a shotgun raised, ready to shoot.
Hell yeah.
He yelled at the men to get off of his land, and he fired a warning shot in the air. The men fled, but not before declaring that they would be back to teach him a lesson.
Oh, no.
Washburn returned inside to find his family cowering in the corner. "They're gone," Washburn said. "If they ever come again, I won't be firing a warning shot." "If they ever come again, they'll be coming to kill us," his wife said. "We should clear out of here. It isn't safe anymore." "This is our home," Washburn replied. "I swear to God, no devil's going to drive us from it." Life continued on after that night, but business slowed way down. Word was going around that the KKK would terrorize anyone who gave Washburn business. Word made its way to the Washburns as well. His wife pleaded that they leave, but Washburn refused. "I'm a man," he said. "I've given my sweat and blood to make this our home, and hell itself won't move us out." On a dark night in August of 1938, Washburn woke to his goats frantically making noise. He jumped out of bed just to look out at the goats and saw a man slitting the throats of his animals. In a blind rage, he rushed from the house chasing the man. He ran all the way to Alton Bridge, where he found himself surrounded by members of the KKK.
No.
They had stopped their cars on the bridge with the headlights shut off. The mob grabbed him and dragged him over to the edge of the bridge where a noose was waiting for him.
Mm.
The noose was tightened around Washburn's neck, and they didn't think twice about his begging and fighting. They threw him mercilessly over the side of the bridge.
Oh, my God.
The members made their way down the hills that led to the waters to admire the death they had caused and confirm that it had worked.
Sick.
But they were shocked to find the noose empty, swinging over the undisturbed water.
Oh.
The members searched the water and surrounding areas extensively but could not find Oscar. In a furious rage, the members stormed back to Washburn's farm, thinking he had somehow made it back there. When they couldn't find him, they set the house on fire, with Oscar's family still inside. Washburn was never seen again and his body was never found, but some members of the mob started to die under mysterious circumstances. One choked while eating his dinner. One quickly became ill and died from a fever. Before his death, he was hallucinating and shouting about ghosts.
This is like a 18th century, 19th century version of like John Wick or something, or 20th century version.
Kind of.
Like disappears and then all of a sudden he's like sneaking around, being like, "You're dead, you're dead, you're dead, me." Although it's a little bit bigger of a deal because it wasn't just his dog.
Right.
But I would do that for
It was
my
him
dog.
and his family.
Yeah.
And 2 were killed in a drunk driving accident while crossing the bridge at night. It is now said that Washburn's vengeful spirit haunts the old Alton Bridge.
Wait, did he die in the house?
No one knows where he is.
Okay, that's what I thought.
No one found him. No one knows where his body is. He is gone.
He planned those deaths.
He planned them?
Yeah, if he's still alive, but they don't think he's alive or they don't know.
Oh, yeah, they have no idea because they threw him over when they went down to look.
He
The
was
noose is
gone.
empty. The water's undisturbed.
Yeah.
And he's nowhere in the area.
So being stealth spy.
Maybe. I would hope so. But the story of Oscar Washburn isn't the only story that has come out about the origins of the Goatman and the bridge. One other story says that the spirit haunting the bridge is actually Oscar's wife searching for her murdered children. While some
I
say...
don't like that one.
I know. Well, some say that this is the work of Satanists who have opened a portal for a hellspawn demon to come through.
No, I think that happened when those terrible people tried to murder an innocent man.
Yeah.
I think that would summon some pretty evil stuff.
Yeah. There is an altar that can still be seen by the bridge. It is said that it is still used to this day for animal sacrifices by a group known as the Dark KKK. Which actually, according to one...
Please, Texas, become your own country.
So, according to one local police officer, there had been reports of sacrificial rituals being performed in the nearby woods.
And this is like recently.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So much so that nearby pet stores have had to stop selling cats because so many had been found slaughtered in ritualistic manners in the area. I know.
Okay, not that this is like scary, but this is definitely the worst one you've told.
I know.
Like all of this is terrible so far, Lauren.
I know. But there is one story that
I'd rather get a
precedes...
candy lady again.
There is one story that precedes the bridge itself. So this story goes back to the 1860s, a time known as the Texas Troubles. Literally, if you type in, when were the Texas Troubles? 1860.
Just that year.
Just that year. On July 8th...
Interesting that's when the Civil War started.
Oh, was it really?
Mhm.
See, I need the history person here because I didn't know that.
Oh, I take it back. That was 1963. It was close.
The towns of Dallas and Denton
I think.
were among the many towns that were being hit with mysterious fires. Some believe these fires were an attempt by slaves for a slave rebellion. Charles R. Pryor was a newspaper editor, and in his newspaper, he printed accusations and lies stating that several slaves had confessed to being the one responsible for the fires. The rumor spread, and many across the state believed that slaves and abolitionists were working together to poison, murder, and rape the townspeople. Mobs gathered to hunt and hang anyone they thought could have been part of these murders and fires. I'll give you one guess at who they targeted. While one of these men captured and lynched by some Copper Canyon cowboys was a Creole slave goat herder named Jack Kendall. Kendall was hanged from a tall creekside tree where the bridge now stands. But in the process, due to the captor's incompetence, this is also really bad, I'm so sorry, Kendall's head was separated from his body during the hanging. I know. The cowboys watched in absolute horror as the headless body of Kendall rose from the creek bed mud, animated by voodoo. They watched on as Kendall ripped the head off of a nearby goat, which it used to replace its own, which was still hanging from the noose.
I mean, in so many ways is that super fucking creepy, but given that technically Goatman is victim, I'm on his side.
Yes, and they were also trying to say, like, this story came about to show, like, the horrors of voodoo and how voodoo's awful.
Oh, sweet fucking Jesus.
Because he was animated by voodoo.
Well,
yeah.
You maybe shouldn't have hanged him. Well, we won't talk about that evil. That's,
yeah,
comparatively.
So another version of this story
Oh my God, how
though-
many?
I know. Says
We're still in the origin story.
I know.
We haven't gotten to anything else.
I know. So another version says that Kendall killed and ate his family, being hung for his crimes, with the same after effects happening.
Those are so drastically fucking different.
So about 4 different stories about how we have Goatman's Bridge.
Do I get to decide? You know, it's interesting. Mine has like options too. Do I get to decide for yours which one I like the best? And that's the one we go with?
You can.
Okay, cool. I want to go with the first one because that was the least terrible out of all the ones you told.
The first one was Oscar Washburn.
Yeah, but then someone.
But that one we never found his body. So.
Right. So granted, that I said it's the least worst.
Okay.
It's still sad as fuck.
The names of Jack Kendall and Oscar Washburn won't be found in any history books because oftentimes we give names to the spirits so we can feel like we connect with these poor souls.
Oh, interesting.
WeDentonDoIt.com said, quote,
Wait, say it again.
We Denton Do It. So like Denton.
Doug Whoa.
Doug Dibidome, owner of the Dimsdale Dibidome.
Yep, same vibes.
So that website said, the Goatman isn't just a haunting campfire tale. It's also a reminder that any ignorance of our history is no protection from its everlasting consequences.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's unsure which legend is accurate, if any are accurate at all, but what is well known is that the bridge is haunted and terrifying experiences have occurred here. So I wasn't sure where to throw in this little fact, so I figured here would be perfect.
Okay.
So the scarechamber.com is the only place that I heard of this particular thing.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently this bridge is located right along the line of the pentagram of blood. Pentagram of blood is capitalized. So this pentagram of blood is formed by ancient ley lines, which we've talked about before, or solstice lines of energy that cover America. So these lines, there are 5 of them needed to form a pentagram, right? Referred to these lines, like these lines are called the 5 lines of death. So along these lines are pretty much every major loss of life that has occurred in North America within the past 20 plus years, 20 or so years.
Like mass.
Yes.
Large mass.
So I looked into this.
Okay.
There's not a lot online, just mainly like you can see the map that has the pentagram on it, but there's not really anything about the pentagram of blood.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently this concept was mentioned first in Ghost Adventures with Zach Bagans. But along these lines, so some things that have happened include Columbine, 9/11, the Oklahoma City bombing, Parkland, the Virginia Tech massacre, JFK's assassination, horrible hurricanes, and just a ton more.
Holy shit.
So it would make sense for this bridge, which has an awfully dark history surrounding it, to be located along these lines.
Absolutely.
So I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
Okay, so now we'll get into the supernatural part of it.
Okay.
So the first reports of supernatural encounters on the bridge started around 1938, so the year that Oscar Washburn was kidnapped by the KKK.
You guys started right away. Wasted no time.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm
nope.
coming back and haunting you fuckers.
As he should.
Mm-hmm.
So according to reports, the Goatman stands at 8 feet or 2.4 meters tall, with the chest and arms of a man, but the hindquarters and hooved feet of a goat, complete with a goat's head with huge curled horns and glowing eyes.
So is it like a large, scary version of Mr. Tumnus?
Yes, but Mr. Tumnus has more of like a human-y face.
Yeah.
This has more of a goatee face.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Curled horns and glowing eyes.
Got it.
Some say his fur is a deep fiery red, while others say it's as black as night. Legend says that if you knock on the steel bridge 3 times at midnight, or turn off your car in the lights and honk 3 times, you can summon the Goatman and invite him to visit.
Why would I do that? It seems like a stupid idea.
It is a stupid idea. His visitation is usually preceded by the smell of decaying flesh.
Hell, what?
Cars are known to break down on the bridge, not starting when you need it to. Car doors have also been known to lock and unlock on their own. Another way to unwittingly summon his spirit is just by speaking his name while on the bridge. So it said that he sleeps, this is a weird part of the story, but it says he sleeps underneath the bridge during the day and creeps out at night to hunt for food, returning only when he hears his name. If his name is said during the day, he is awoken and often more vicious due to the disruption of his sleep schedule.
Understandable.
Understandable, 100%. Locals say that by knocking on the bridge, you are inviting the Goatman to judge you.
Goatman comes out. Honey, those pants, they were so 2005.
Well, we like how he judges.
Okay.
So he will only
I like that.
He only spirits away those who have the bloodlines of clansmen or slave owners.
Love it.
He drags those poor souls into the woods to enact his terrible revenge.
Talk about a terrible way to find out your lineage.
Right. I was thinking the same thing. Like, what if you didn't know?
Yeah.
And what if you're like a really good person?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is also said that if you cross the bridge at exactly 3 a.m., you may unlock a portal into hell itself, complete with horrific visions of fire and brimstone, but that is only reported by those who have actually returned, because there are a large number of people who have gone missing on or near the bridge. Others say that if you stand on the bridge late at night, you can hear Washburn calling out, "This is our home. I swear to God, no devil's going to drive us from it."
Oh.
Exactly what he said to his wife. So back to the people missing. There are reports of numerous abandoned cars that have been found near the bridge, all with their occupants missing. On November 15th, 1967, police were called to the bridge to investigate yet another abandoned car. There had been a rash of mysterious disappearances near the bridge, so these calls were sadly and horrifyingly becoming common. Police arrived only to find an unsolved mystery. The car that the call had been about looked as if it had been abandoned in a hurry, but this car wasn't the only one that looked that way. No clues other than the car were ever left behind, and the owners of the cars were never found. Ryan Bagara from BuzzFeed Unsolved said, quote, "One person said that after he and his friend heard the voice, he ran off the bridge while his friend stayed. He then reportedly watched his friend get dragged towards the railing of the bridge and flipped into the water below."
Oh my God, this is an episode on BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember it except Ryan freaking the fuck out.
Yep. Because he's like, "I will only do one demon thing a season, and this is it."
Exactly.
Yes, I watched this one yesterday. There have been numerous reports of what people have seen and heard while on or near the bridge. Some people who have visited reported that they actually saw the Goatman at the end of the bridge waiting for them to cross. Others have seen a large, goat-headed, man-breasted creature stomping through the dark woods that sit next to the bridge. An apparition of a maniacal satyr has been seen, carrying the heads of goats and humans in his hand. But less apparition-y things, people have seen unholy glowing red eyes that burn in the darkness. Strange lights have also appeared back in the woods in the spot where Washburn's homestead stood. An orange mist that moves against the flow of the wind has also been spotted.
Orange.
Yeah, I know. The sound of hooves running on the bridge, cries of a goat, inhuman screams, growls, and maniacal laughter coming from the woods have been reported, along with the sound of something splashing into the creek water below. People have reported hearing a voice telling them to get off of the bridge, which is usually followed by an intense feeling of being watched. That feeling is felt by people who don't hear the voice telling them to leave. That's just this feeling of being watched. Some people have been overcome by a strange but strong feeling of violence and anger while on the bridge. So one investigator who's checking out the bridge actually became so engrossed in this feeling that she started to have visions and the urge to murder her entire team.
Oh my God.
She did not. Some people have left with scratches on their backs, usually 3, mocking the Holy Trinity. Others have felt touched, pushed, and grabbed. Rocks have been thrown at visitors from somewhere deep in the woods. A few mediums who have visited the bridge have also said the bridge is haunted by 4 different spirits. One of them, obviously, is believed to be the Ghostman. Another is believed... Goatman, thank you. The Ghostman. Another is believed to be a woman who wanders the area searching for her lost baby, sort of like La Llorona. People have reportedly heard her ghostly wails and have even seen her crying at the center of the bridge. When people approach her trying to help or see what's wrong, she simply disappears. Some say that this woman and the Goatman are actually connected, saying that he did steal her baby. When she found out, she threw herself from the bridge where her spirit has haunted since. Another one of the ghosts, like I mentioned earlier, is believed to be Washburn's wife, also searching for her murdered children. Maybe she and the other woman are one and the same. But another person whose account on Reddit had been deleted believes that the area could be haunted by a Wendigo, which from now on I will call a Windy Boy because you're not supposed to say their names often, and that's what everyone else calls them, so we're going to go with Windy Boy.
Okay.
If you want more information on what one is, you can go back and listen to our episode where we covered them. But anywho, this user says that Windy Boys come with feelings of possession, rage, paranoia, and lack of memory, all things that people report experiencing at the bridge. So not gonna lie, okay. This was my creepy moment. So I'm on Reddit.
You're gonna share it.
Yeah, of course I'm gonna share it. So I'm on Reddit and I'm reading, so this girl posted a story that I'm gonna talk about a little bit later about her experience. Someone commented on it and was this comment about the Windy Boy. So I read it, I was reading parts of it, and I said, oh, that's interesting. And then I went to read another part of the story, so I clicked to another page. I came right back to the page I'm on, and the comment's gone.
Oh.
Completely gone. And so I was like, oh, maybe I accidentally closed out the page. So I opened up all the pages again, because if you do like Control-Shift-T, it brings all of your pages back.
Yeah.
So I did that. I'm looking through all of them, cannot find the story anywhere.
That's crazy.
I'm scouring the comments, cannot find it anywhere. So I finally do Control F to like type in the name, and it pops up right in the area of the comments that I had just been reading to try to find it. And it was not there.
I wonder if it was like one of those things where you know how like some comments it'll show you like 3 and then
I did that too. I
Yeah.
clicked on all of the see more comments.
Yeah.
Nowhere on this page. And I even remember reading the comment above it and looking right below because I was like, I swear it's right below it. Not there. And then when I control F, right there under that comment.
Mhm.
And I like searched. So it was just a very like odd, unsettling feeling, especially what the comment was about.
And you're about to go tell us?
Well, that was the story
Oh,
of
okay.
that. But because it's like the windy boy, it says that it makes you like have like a lack of memory and like have all these like weird feelings. And so I like, it was just weird. And
Are you
so
telling us the creepy story too, or just that one?
just that one. Oh, no. I'll tell the story that inspired that comment.
Oh.
So don't worry. Spirit Hunter from WeDentonDoIt.com said that he had visited the bridge a few times with some friends. The last time he went, the group saw a young boy of 5 or 6 standing at the edge of the bridge. They also communicated with both a male and female spirit. Another girl named Nikki went and got the name Steve multiple times on the spirit box. She asked who Steve was, and someone named Ava replied. So Ava said that Steve was the leader of the KKK and had 3 wives. He wanted a 4th, but she rejected him. Because man can't handle rejection, it is said that he raped her and beat her. Now Steve's spirit is said to be here and is known to hate women, which is why women typically have stronger reactions and like bigger experiences at the bridge, much stronger than men do. Many believe that it's related to this Steve spirit. Yeah. Annabelle F. from hauntedplaces.org, my favorite, said that she visited the bridge with her boyfriend and 2 of their friends. So she was about to tell her friend the story of the bridge when she heard a voice whisper in her ear. The voice said, "Go ahead, tell her the story."
Stop! Ugh! I have to pee.
She could also feel the hot breath of the voice on her neck. So she thought it was her boyfriend, so she swatted behind her but didn't feel anything. When she turned around to look, she didn't see her boyfriend and noticed he was at a completely different part of the bridge.
I'd be fucking gone so fucking fast.
I wouldn't even be at the bridge in the first place.
Right. Like I wouldn't even if you had one chance to be like agree with me that we're going, and if you don't, I will book it.
Yup.
I'm gone with or without you.
Okay, so here's that story that inspired the Windy Boy comment. So the Reddit user, I was trying to figure out what their name was. And I was like, IMO K Thanks? KT Hanks? And I'm like, what is it? Because I thought IMO, like, in my opinion. I was like, this makes no sense. And then it's, I'm okay, thanks. So this is that person's experience. So they said that the bridge is now covered in graffiti. There are 2 pentagrams drawn on the bridge with the words, "We all die" in the middle.
We do.
I mean, they're not wrong. There are stars that go across the top of the bridge with fake blood dripping from each other one. Every other one. There were all these undecipherable words all over as well. And she said
Most
that
graffiti is undecipherable.
yeah, but she said the words that you could like read, they tried to translate it or tried to put it into Google and it's nothing. So this user goes by the nickname of Jen. And when she went to investigate the bridge, she saw her nickname spray painted in kind of like a hidden spot. So not spooky, but definitely kind of strange. So I'm okay, thanks said, since visiting, she has been experiencing intense waves of nausea. Some of the worst came right when she returned home from visiting the bridge. She said that night she ran to the bathroom to splash water on her face. And when she looked at her reflection in the mirror, she didn't recognize the eyes staring back.
No! No!
She said the gaze was of someone with immense hate. She said, quote, "Someone or something was using my body to see through me." She remembers a feeling of intense violence coming over her, and she told her boyfriend, "I am not Jen." She then started to have incredibly violent thoughts, pretty much with her telling her boyfriend to go home because she didn't know if she would hurt him in the middle of the night. She ended her post by saying that it feels like something is trying to learn her life to take over, but the intense feeling has subsided a bit. But she's asking people, like, what do you think this is? What do you think happened? What can I do for this nausea? And that's when the guy was like, oh, it's probably a windy boy. I know.
Although graffiti wouldn't make me think that like it's more haunted than usual. It would make me think this is an abandoned bridge.
Yeah, but it's just adding to like the abandonedness of the bridge, I guess.
I just looked at it, I was like, those are teenagers who are trying to scare you. Like,
but it's also just like the feelings that the bridge have.
Well, that,
like,
yes.
Yeah.
But I just, because she started off with the graffiti, it was like, that's.
Well, because she was describing how it looked as she was like walking up to the bridge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she was like, we came upon the bridge, like this is how it looked kind of thing. So a ghost hunter from Tennessee named Kalani Smith traveled to the bridge. He said he did hear some strange things in the woods while they were investigating, and that he saw 3 individuals heading into the forest carrying items he didn't recognize. So he kind of called out and he was like, "Oh, what are y'all doing?" And they're like going to perform a ritual, and they just walked into the woods. And he was like, "Cool." Smith said that he may also be haunted by the Goatman after spending the night at the bridge.
That's stupid.
So he said, quote, "After my visit to Goatman's bridge, a variety of psychics have seen an attachment on me that resembles a Goatman figure. What's interesting about this is some of these people didn't even know that I ventured to Goatman's bridge. This gets even weirder because on my other investigations after Goatman's bridge, the name Goatman keeps coming through my equipment and I get activity when I mention his name." So it seems like it's kind of like it attaches.
Mm-hmm.
There have actually been so many reports of people seeing and experiencing things at the bridge that numerous paranormal groups have come to investigate. So this includes Ghost Adventures, BuzzFeed Unsolved Supernatural, and Sam and Colby on YouTube. So just because they can be ridiculous, let me just mention Zach Bagans' experience. So Aaron was allegedly thrown during filming by an unseen force.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach claimed he was compelled by a spirit to choke himself. So someone who, they mentioned this in one of the articles I read, and someone commented on it and was like, "This is pure comedy gold watching Zach choke himself." But you are warned, and I will leave this as a parting warning. As you are leaving, you should not look behind you at the bridge, especially if you don't want something to follow you home.
You should never look behind you if you're doing something dark and creepy.
So it's a lot of the people who have had these weird experiences do mention that they looked at the bridge as they were leaving and then something attached themselves.
I'm just so glad I'm never going to have to worry about this because I'm never going to go to these.
I will never go here. There are some haunted places that I would go to, but I'm not about the haunted places where it's like Ryan Bagheera says. I don't want to go to a demony place.
Mm-mm.
I don't want to go to a scary place. I don't want to go to a place where things attach themselves to you. No thanks.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, so that's Goatman's Bridge in Alton, Texas.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I could see why that I would actually maybe give as one of the most haunted.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about bridges before, and that one definitely freaked me out.
And it was long. I did not think I would be able to cover this much about the bridge.
Yeah.
But there was so much.
It's a good bridge.
It is a good bridge. Scary bridge.
Scary bridge.
Good bridge.
But a good bridge. Good story bridge.
Good story bridge.
Not an actual good bridge.
Yeah.
It's a bad bridge.
It is a bad bridge.
Bridge is starting to sound weird.
It is. So that's it. So what story do you have for me tonight, Mackenzie?
All right. It's a bit of a doozy.
Oh, great.
So feel free at any point to stop me if you have questions.
Okay. Love when we give disclaimers like this.
I don't think you'll need the whiteboard or anything.
I know you glanced over and I said we couldn't need that.
I thought about it earlier that you might need it, but I think for now we'll be okay.
But we have it for the sole reason if we need it.
Yeah, and I can go back and find. There's a lot of just information.
Okay.
So,
and what I am excited about with this one is when you put his name on the spreadsheet, I don't know who this is.
Yeah, he's a cutie pie.
Sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's young. He's 24.
Is or was? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, break my heart, Mackenzie.
I don't even want to hear it after your story.
No. It wasn't bad when I was it was bad when I was writing it, but
Right.
it's always so much worse when we say it out loud.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, because then you have the other person reacting.
Yes.
And so you've already done the reaction yourself.
And then that's all that we're doing. Usually when I'm doing my notes, there's other stuff going on. Other people are talking. I'm watching TV. There's
Right.
other things going on.
It feels more like you're just writing a report.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when we're reading it, it's the emotions and the story and the reactions and it's, ugh.
I have a part in here that's tug at your heartstrings.
Ugh.
I don't think I'll cry.
That's why that one we did, I think in Indiana with Alex.
I know which one
Yeah.
you're talking about.
That one got me choking up and I
remember
don't
that.
choke up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Oh, okay. All
It
right.
was one of the 6 times I've seen you cry. Time number 4.
Hey, I didn't cry, but my voice got all the little
Close enough.
chokins. Okay. All right.
If there's a tear, I count it. So mostly because I'm not 100% sure of everything that happened, but I am 100% sure that about 82 to 97% of this stuff did actually happen.
That's your statistics last week where you're 82% of 100, 5% of that 82, and 1% of that 5.
Yeah, I am big on numbers.
You big on numbers.
Yeah. Could I tell you what math I just said? No. I just know that I don't know everything, but I do know some stuff.
Okay.
That's basically what I'm trying to say.
That's enough.
So what happened was is I watched the forensic files on it. As I was looking for articles and things like that, I found a link to a YouTube channel called Real Responders, and it's essentially like forensic files, but it's more the first responders. So
Oh.
they're about on their YouTube page says, bringing you all the action that comes with blue lights, crime, justice, law, and order. Real Responders is the perfect place to get your emergency rescue fix. We've got all kinds of documentary content from cops to doctors, firefighters to air rescue.
Interesting.
So I watched the Forensic Files first,
Mhm.
and then I watched the Real Responders second, and I got some things that are old, some things that are new, and some things that are maybe true.
Okay.
And yes, I did that on purpose.
Yep. Old, new, maybe true.
Some of the parts of this story will have a nice cohesive storyline, and others will have options.
Okay.
So,
Choose your own adventure.
kind of.
Okay.
You can just kind of choose whichever one you want to go with.
And you'll take us down whatever path is already preset.
We're about to go through a fucking maze. It's not even a path. Path would apply one direction.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. Scott Dunn is 24 years. Great
Solid
start.
start.
Scott Dunn is a 24-year-old Texan originally from Pennsylvania. After serving in the Army Reserves, he settled in Lubbock, Texas, where he began working at MGM Electronics, specializing in custom sound systems for cars. On May 13th, 1991, gotta back up. Option 1.
Oh my God.
On May 13th, 1991, Scott Dunn went to a party after work and decided to bring along a lady friend. Scott thought it would be amusing to bring a trans woman to the party, but not tell his friends until later in the night.
Oh my God.
Remember the time?
90s.
Early. Yeah.
Okay.
However, his fun was cut short when he fell ill and crashed on the sofa. Karma? Maybe.
Hmm?
The next morning, his girlfriend had to come pick him up. Leisha Hamilton told Forensic Files, quote, he looked like crap. He couldn't hardly walk. I mean, you could tell he'd been in bed all day. He wasn't showered. He wasn't clean. Clothes on all awkwardly. Couldn't get dressed by himself. Man cold?
Was he going to do anything like more than friends with the friend he was going to bring?
Mm-mm.
Oh, so just not even going to bring the girlfriend, just.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This option here
Mm-hmm.
is the only time you're ever going to hear about this. It
Okay.
never comes back.
Interesting.
I remember when I first watched the Forensic Files episode, I was like, why was all that necessary?
Right.
Like, him doing that has zero to do, at least as far as we know, zero to do what happened to him.
Okay.
And so it's like, I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, okay, so.
And back to your man cold. There was one time when Joe left work because his nose was really stuffy and he was really congested. And I looked at him and I said, you're a child. I said, you were such a baby. And he was like, oh, I don't feel good. I said, Joseph, how you feel right now? That's how I felt for 30 years of my life. I still go to work. I still go to the gym. I still do normal life things. And here you are in bed. He was like, I don't feel good. I said, I'm so sorry. I love you, but you're being such a baby.
Scott stayed in bed for another day before claiming to feel well enough to return to work. Definitely a man cold.
Absolutely.
His
Our
girlfriend.
friend had brain surgery.
Oh, yeah.
And will get headaches from her brain surgery. Okay. She still takes, and she had brain surgery because she had cancer. So she still gets headaches sometimes. She will still take care of the dogs, go shopping, go to work, cook. Her husband gets a cold, a baby cold, a minuscule cold, and is out on the couch for 3 days.
I did tell her, I was like, I kind of feel bad for him because, like, the threshold
that he has to reach.
he has to reach before he's actually allowed to complain is so high. He's hopefully never going to reach that.
Hopefully.
So I was like, I get it, and you're right, but I kind of feel bad for him. He does not have a winning
A
chance.
hand he can never win.
Ever. All right. So,
oh, man.
Girlfriend offers him a ride, but he says no, a friend's going to pick him up. So she left for her waitressing job after she gave him some water and some medicine. When Scott's friends came by to pick him up later, he didn't answer the door.
Pick him up for what?
Work.
Oh, okay.
This marked the beginning of his disappearance. Leisha Hamilton, his girlfriend, never saw him again and called Scott's dad in Pennsylvania 2 days later. Jim Dunn, Scott's father, who had no knowledge of Leisha, was shocked to learn his son was missing and promptly filed a missing persons report.
How'd she have his phone number from?
The phone bill.
Oh, so didn't even have his phone.
Dad did not know this lady existed until
Right.
she called him.
But so Scott's the son, right?
Mhm.
So we don't have Scott's phone. Like, that's not how she got the dad's number?
I'm assuming it's when they say phone, it's like whatever house phone they have.
Right. I'm thinking cell phone. Okay, phone bill makes sense. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Okay.
It's 1991.
Right. Here I am, like, you can just go into the contact list and pull up the phone.
No.
Let me go to my address book.
Yep, pretty much. Option number 2. On a quiet Sunday evening, May 19th, 1991, Jim Dunn and his wife Sue, residing in Pennsylvania, found themselves jolted awake by a late-night phone call. The caller identified herself as Leisha Hamilton, claiming to be Scott's girlfriend. Distraught, she informed them that Scott had vanished without a trace. Initially, Jim tried to reassure Leisha, anticipating a call from Scott himself. However, as the days passed, with no word from his son, Jim's concern deepened. Scott's absence seemed out of character, though Jim reasoned that Scott might have been engrossed in his favorite hobby of buying and restoring cars.
So the night that they're calling, are we saying this is technically the same night as the party from the first story?
Yeah, so
Okay. So instead of going to a party and then the next morning, this is all happening technically the night that the party would have been.
well, it's option 2.
Right.
So
Right. But that's like the same day we're following, right?
Yeah, it's still the same timeline. It's just 2 different stories.
Okay, just making
of
sure.
what happened,
Right.
essentially.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
making sure.
Yeah. So Jim decided to reach out to Scott's workplace, only to discover that he hadn't shown up for several days. According to Scott's boss, the last time he saw Scott, Scott was unwell and asked if he could go home early. So in the second option, he got sick at work.
Mm-hmm.
In the first one, he was at a party.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
I just want to make sure I'm like on the right day.
Regardless, he got sick.
Okay.
I don't know where it was.
So is that the 100% fact?
That one, we know for sure.
Okay.
That's part of the 82 to 97%.
Oh my God.
The where is a little sketch. He left his tools and car behind, hoping to return in a few days, and Leisha came to pick him up. Strangely, Leisha had called the shop days later, suggesting that Scott had left her for another woman. An assertion Jim found doubtful, knowing his son's attachment to his beloved cars. My favorite comment on this YouTube video was like, the narrator was like, that was just preposterous because he would never go anywhere without his beloved cars.
Oh my God.
And like, you think when the guy's saying it that he would say like his beloved girlfriend or whatever.
His beloved dog.
Right. Beloved cars. With mounting concern, Jim took action, filing a missing persons report. However, investigators faced problems from the start. Scott, being an adult, had the right to disappear. And without evidence of foul play, the investigation hit a dead end. In discussions with Detective Tell English, Jim reiterated his disbelief in Scott's sudden disappearance. He highlighted 2 key points that troubled him deeply. Scott's abandonment of his tools and his prized restored, yellow sports car. He had a yellow sports car. I don't know if he restored it.
Okay.
I'm making that assumption.
Okay.
2 possessions he wouldn't leave behind without good reason. It was kind of a nice car despite it being yellow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As the investigation unfolded...
What was the other possession?
His tools.
Oh, right. Sorry, yes.
As the investigation unfolded, the mystery surrounding Scott Dunn's disappearance only deepened, leaving his family desperate for answers. So we have some parts to the investigation.
Okay.
Part 1. Missing? ?
You guys get titles and everything.
Well, you kind of have to because there's options. So I have to let you know what part we're focusing on.
Okay.
Actually, this is the first one without an option. It's just straightforward.
Okay.
As the investigation into Scott's disappearance unfolded, crucial details emerged, shedding light on the perplexing circumstances surrounding his case. Leisha Hamilton was the last individual to have had contact with Scott. Hamilton had been living with Scott for a few months, and they had been dating for a bit prior to him going missing. No one ever says how long.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, at first, when I listened to it, sounded like that she'd been a long-term girlfriend, and they lived together. But then also the second few times I listened to it, it sounded more like this was a little bit more recent.
Okay.
So she recounted that she took care of him when he felt sick before leaving for work that day. However, her account took a curious turn when she disclosed a strange discovery while rearranging furniture. A section of the carpet was missing under the sofa.
Oh.
When the police checked the rest of the house, they found it taped down in the bedroom. Underneath, they saw red-brown stains that looked like blood.
Interesting. We actually, when we moved out of our very first apartment together, Roy had gotten into a box of red wine. And so we had a nice red wine stain. And we really tried our hardest to get it up and we couldn't. So Grandma told me what she did once was they had rented, she accidentally dropped a cigarette on the floor and it burned a teeny little hole in it. So she went around the carpet picking up the little bits of extra carpet and put it on there and you couldn't tell. So we did the same thing and we tried it. It worked on one of the spots and not the other one. But so that just reminds me, like taking a little bit of carpet from
Feel
somewhere
like, yeah,
else
it's gotta have
and hiding it somewhere else.
a small.
Yeah.
No, this was, this though was like they cut out a section of
Oh,
carpet.
I'm picturing like a teeny little
No,
square.
they chopped out a section of carpet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe be a little less obvious. So how big was this blood stain that they were covering?
So what it was there was a piece missing from the living room, which is what she showed the police officers.
Right.
They're like, okay, well, can we look around? She said
go
yes.
find it.
They go look around in the bedroom. They find the same size of what the carpet missing,
Right.
and it was duct taped to this this piece in the living room. When they took that off
In the bedroom.
when they took that piece off, that's when they saw the blood. So the carpet from the living room was moved into the bedroom.
Yeah. So was it a big spot of blood?
Not at this time. Like what they saw was like more like stains and things like that. There wasn't like blatant obvious signs, but enough that like they knew that this was odd.
Okay.
So,
all right.
But we're about to see when they really see the blood.
Okay.
You're always one freaking step ahead.
My brain's just like spinning with all the possibilities.
Like, just wait.
I can't.
To make sure they didn't mess up anything, authorities called the ID unit to take crime scene photos. The identification unit, I'm assuming it's
that would make sense.
Yeah. Subsequent tests confirmed the presence of human blood, but they didn't know whose blood it was. The application of luminol, a forensic tool utilized to detect trace amounts of blood, unveiled a chilling illustration of violence. The photographs captured the stark reality of the scene, a silent testament to the horrors that had transpired within those walls. It's granted, it feels a little softer because it's fucking blue, but like,
yeah,
knowing what it is,
yeah,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Oh,
yeah. So now they saw it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you mean by at the time.
Yeah. They had like some, and then they saw.
Right.
Streaks and smears covered the wall and ceiling, evidence of a desperate attempt to cleanse the scene only deepened the mystery, as if someone sought to erase the haunting echoes of a violent encounter. Despite this scene, scary scene. Despite the scary scene, the investigators carefully gathered evidence. Samples of blood, carpet fibers, the duct tape securing the compromised flooring, and even Scott's hairbrush were meticulously collected. All these clues might help solve the mystery of what happened to Scott. As the news of the gruesome discovery spread, Scott's father was gripped by a profound sense of dread, his heart heavy with the grim realization that his son's fate likely ended in tragedy. Part 2. Tim Smith. Option 1.
Oh my God.
Laisha Hamilton persisted in contacting Scott's father to update him on the ongoing investigation regarding Scott's disappearance. During these calls, she inquired about acquiring Scott's yellow sports car, and he recorded their conversation because he's a smart dad.
Smart.
So Jim says, "It seems like you're eager for the car, and I've promised it to you once. Everything is resolved, but you don't seem willing to wait." Leisha replies and says, "Actually, I don't. It's not a need. It's a desire at the moment. The only thing I truly desire is this car. It's been my sole focus from the beginning, and it remains so now."
What?
Investigators also found that Leisha Hamilton had a previous arrest in New Mexico for embezzlement.
Oh.
As they learned more about her, police began to suspect that maybe she was involved in Scott's disappearance.
Yeah.
However, her assistance with the police, such as pointing out the missing carpet in the apartment, did raise some questions about her motives. Leisha informed Scott's father about a man named Tim Smith, whom she believed was connected to Scott's disappearance. Tim Smith resided in an apartment near Hamilton and had a background rooted in a strict religious upbringing. According to Roy Carper, one of the prosecutors in this case, his theory is, quote, "This was the first real contact that he had ever had with a worldly woman, and that he became enamored with her and the way she made him feel, and he just fell head over heels in love with her." Police discovered that Smith failed to show up for work on the day that Scott went missing. Upon visiting his residence, they found him in the process of packing up to move. They asked Smith if they could look around, and he said yes. Smith just continues packing, at least according to the reenactment on forensic files. However, when officers came back into the living room, they noticed that an item was missing from the bookshelf. A roll of duct tape had been sitting on the shelf, and now it was gone.
Okay.
They found the duct tape hidden behind books on another shelf, prompting inquiries about its significance. Was it the same duct tape found in Scott's bedroom?
Right.
Option 2. Investigators conducted a second round of questioning with Hamilton, during which she failed to provide a satisfactory explanation for the presence of blood evidence found in the bedroom. The DNA profile from Scott's hairbrush was compared to the DNA from the bloodstains, and they found a match. Hamilton remained steadfast in her belief that Scott had left with another woman. Hamilton later recalled a pertinent detail, ongoing issues with a neighbor named Tim Smith. So Tim Smith, 100%, definitely a fact. Whether Hamilton told the dad or told the cops,
Right.
I don't know. She claimed that Smith had recently been harassing her, revealing that they had initially met at a local nightclub several months prior, despite her attempts to end their relationship while she's still with Scott.
With Tim Smith. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Tim Scott. Jesus. Scott and Tim dating at the same time.
Okay.
But she tries to break up with him, and he's like, no.
No,
Smith,
thank you. I don't want to do that.
yeah. Smith persisted in pursuing her, and he would frequently follow her. Detective Tail English reported that Hamilton disclosed her efforts to distance herself from Tim, but he continued to pursue her against her wishes. Consequently, authorities began to view Tim Smith as a potential suspect.
The way you hesitated with that word and still said subject to.
I know.
Unsub.
Unsub.
Well, but not really un.
It's okay.
Just a sub.
Just shh. When police approached Tim Smith for questioning, they found him in the middle of packing his apartment. So was Tim Smith packing his apartment? Yes, for sure.
Fact.
But this time, they asked him why, instead of just not bothering to ask.
Yeah, actually. Duh.
Yeah.
And is he packing up the apartment or is he packing up his clothes to like go on a trip?
He's packing up the apartment.
Okay.
Like packing.
Okay.
Apparently, Smith disclosed that he was relocating to live with Leisha Hamilton, asserting that they had just purchased a property together.
Even though she's technically living with Scott.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah, but she broke up with him, remember? But they bought a house together.
Yeah, okay, yeah. She broke up with Tim.
Supposedly.
But
they bought a house.
Right.
And he's packing to move in with her.
Right.
Yeah. He adamantly denied any involvement in Scott's disappearance. During their investigation, detectives observed a roll of duct tape in Smith's possession that bore a striking resemblance to the duct tape found in Scott's bedroom.
So duct tape is 100% too.
100%.
Okay.
And they found it in Tim's apartment.
Okay, 100%.
100%. Mm-hmm. Part 3, Delulu Love. I really had no idea what to name this section.
I like it.
Option 1.
Oh my God, so these sections have subsections?
Yeah, most of these, this is the last one. No, it's not the last one, but the next one doesn't have options.
I'm still following, but
it's more so like any reasons they give and whatever. That's always where it's like
right.
The facts usually are about the same.
Yeah. Okay. So Delulu Love.
Yeah. Option 1. And these are vastly different. So Scott had a prior arrest and conviction related to cocaine possession.
Oh.
In like 1990, I think.
So just a year earlier.
Yes, something like that. However, investigators did not believe his disappearance was drug-related as it didn't align with the crime scene. Detective Tal English, the lead investigator, expressed to Forensic Files that if Scott's disappearance was linked to drugs, the perpetrators would likely have left his body as a warning to others. He said, quote, if it was a drug hit, they probably would have left the person there, wanting everybody in the world to see that nobody else could cross them.
Right.
And this crime scene was covered up, and the only reason it was covered up was because it was trying to be hidden.
I think they tried really hard to be philosophical.
Oh my God.
It was covered up because they were trying to be hidden.
Oh, I fucking died.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, buddy. It was rumored that Scott Dunn had led a double life, continuing to date other women while in a relationship with Leisha Hamilton. According to Roy Carper, quote, he was wild. He played the field. He had, in my opinion, a history of using women for his own purposes. In fact, he was engaged to be married to a young lady in the Metro complex while he was living with Leisha Hamilton.
Why is he not living with his fiance? Oh my God.
This is outside of our 82 to 97.
What a tangled web.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's when we have options, because the option 2 is not the same as option 1.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So about a month before his disappearance,
we're still option 1.
We're still in option 1. We're almost done. About a month before his disappearance, Leisha discovered Scott's engagement to another woman when she got a call from someone claiming to be his fiance.
Oh.
Supposedly, Leisha Hamilton was also the type of person to use people for her own gain, so she was none too pleased to find out that she had been the one who was used.
Right.
Option 2. So going back to one of the options where Leisha was like, he left with a woman. Investigators wanted to eliminate that.
Okay.
So they interviewed a female acquaintance, never mentioned her name, who had been spending considerable time with Scott before his disappearance. She informed them that while she had grown close, their relationship remained platonic. Scott confided in her his desire to end his relationship with Hamilton, but expressed apprehension about confronting her. Scott had been cautioned by Hamilton's former partners about her controlling and abusive behavior.
Oh my goodness.
According to one, she incessantly sought evidence of infidelity, reacting explosively to minor occurrences such as receiving a greeting card from an old friend. Threats of physical violence were common, and on occasion she attempted to follow through with them.
Oh.
Scott harbored concerns over how Hamilton would respond to their breakup. Investigators came to realize that Hamilton's outward appearance as a loving girlfriend concealed a darker reality.
Wait, Scott and Hamilton were going to break up?
Hamilton and Alicia, yeah. Yeah. He wanted to break up with her.
Oh.
Yeah. And he was afraid to.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is the first time we're hearing he wanted to break up with her.
Yeah, so option 1, he was secretly engaged. Option 2, he was afraid to break up with her.
Okay.
So those are her choices as to why she went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She was either pissed he was secretly engaged or pissed he was breaking up with her.
Okay.
So those are your options.
So we're pissed.
Yeah. She was definitely pissed. That, 100%. So part 3.2. Murder? Question mark? This is like all the forensic stuff, the interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
Investigators sent the duct tape to the crime lab for analysis. Utilizing infrared spectroscopy. Nope.
That was even worse.
I'll try one more time, and if not, I'll just go with the first one.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's hear this.
Utilizing infrared spectrophotometry. See options.
My laugh made it at the end, so if you need to use that one, you got it.
They were going to use that on the samples.
Okay.
Whatever it is. Well, they use infrared light and pass it through the duct tape. So according to Scott Williams, a drug and trace elements analyst, the detector fuck. The spectrophotometry.
That was flawless.
So good.
Oh my god.
Too bad I read all this other shit in between.
I know.
Okay.
Copy, paste, cut, move.
Right? The detector discerns the degree
Damn.
of light absorption across different wavelengths. In the examination of Scott Dunn's case, the duct tape was disassembled into its components, the fibers running along it, the backing, and the adhesive.
Okay.
Williams confirmed, quote, the infrared spectrum of both the roll of duct tape discovered at the suspect's residence and the duct tape retrieved from the scene exhibits consistent patterns in fiber, backing, and adhesive components.
Interesting.
So it matched.
Yeah. Thank you. I didn't know that you could, like, do that.
Yeah.
You know? It makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But it's not something I would have thought of.
Guess what I found?
What?
On HBO Max, they have like 4 seasons of Forensic Files.
Y'all are going to get so many more forensic files.
I can add to my list. One side of the roll, there were green fibers of triangular configuration. So some of my notes that I took from like the videos, I just put into ChatGPT and I was like, make a complete sentence out of this.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so great. But they try to make it fancy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
We're not there.
And so for this one, instead of saying green fibers, it said like, not verde in Spanish, but some word that had that as a base.
Oh, that's funny.
And I was like, just fucking say green.
It reminds me of like in Friends when Joey's trying to write the letter for Chandler and Monica. And he's like, my aortic pumps harder. Like, you know, whatever. And then at the end he goes, signed, baby kangaroo.
Anyway, there's green fibers of triangular configuration.
Okay.
Matching in size, shape, polymer composition, and coloration with the carpet in Scott Dunn's bedroom.
Oh, okay.
However, the absence of a body posed a significant obstacle.
Right, as it always does.
The district attorney hesitated to proceed to trial, citing concerns about securing a conviction without conclusive evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And in Texas, there's a law that says if there's no body, you can't open a homicide investigation.
Oh.
Part 4. Jim Dunn investigates. Option 1. After a year of stagnant progress in the case, Jim decided to take matters into his own hands. He learned about a group in Philly that convenes periodically to delve into unsolved murders known as the VDOC Society.
Oh my gosh, let's join.
Oh, yeah, it sounds really cool. Richard Walter, one of the co-founders of this group, agreed to hear Mr. Dunn's story. So a little bit about this VDOC Society, if you don't already know. So in 1990, 3 forensic experts gathered for lunch, and their discussion turned to the solving of cold cases. William L. Flesher, a former Philadelphia police officer and FBI agent, was then Philadelphia's second-in-command U.S. Customs special agent. Frank Bend was a well-known forensic sculptor from Philadelphia,
Oh my God.
and Richard Walter was a prison psychologist from Michigan.
This is like the golden trio.
Yeah. The trio wanted to establish a venue where like-minded persons, both in and outside the fields of forensic, could gather to discuss and debate crimes and mysteries. The Vidocq Society was born and named for Eugene Francis Vidocq, 1750 to 1857. The criminal turned detective who founded the French Surete and is considered to have been the first modern detective.
Oh, wow.
The first meeting took place at the Old Philadelphia Navy Yard. Today, the society meets monthly at the Union League of Philadelphia. After the founding, federal, state, and local law enforcers and forensic experts from all over the nation joined. After a time, the society now is focused to work exclusively on unsolved cold cases. So you know how, like, Innocence Project will take people's cases? They kind of now do the same thing, but with cold cases.
Okay.
Yeah. Jim Dunn recounted about his meeting with Richard Walter. This is fucking hilarious. This guy is so intense. So Jim says, quote, after about an hour and a half of presenting evidence, showing pictures, and playing tape recordings, he looked me dead in the eye and said, Jim, aren't you tired of just being the grieving father? Continuing the narrative, Walter then goes on to explain, Jim responded, I thought I was supposed to be. And then I said, no, you were supposed to be damn mad. Let's get that bitch.
Walter, he's his own character in a true crime, not like movie.
Oh, he so is. Walter also suspected Hamilton's involvement and sent crime scene photos to Dr. Richard Shepherd, a forensic pathologist at Scotland Yard in London.
Oh, Scotland Yard.
After thorough examination, Dr. Shepherd concluded that Scott Dunn had been murdered in his bedroom, succumbing to multiple blunt trauma injuries. According to Texas law, without a body, the case couldn't be considered a homicide. However, armed with Dr. Shepherd's findings, Walter pleaded the case to the DA. He argued that they did have a body part in the form of blood's connective tissue.
Oh.
After some convincing, the DA decided to proceed with the case. Prosecutors enlisted the expertise of blood spatter analyst Tom Bevel to corroborate Dr. Shepherd's findings. Option 2. Jim Dunn persisted with the case for nearly a year, tirelessly seeking to uncover more about Leisha Hamilton. So still a year. He wants to know more.
Year. 100% fact.
100%. The case had hit a roadblock because the DA insisted they couldn't proceed without the body.
Right.
Venturing to Hamilton's hometown of Albuquerque, New Mexico, Jim delved into her past in search of any clues pointing to her capability for murder, but came up empty-handed. Feeling disheartened, he returned to his hotel where he stumbled upon a TV show featuring detectives and a group called the Vidocq Society dedicated to investigating unsolved homicides. So in this version, that's where he discovers them. Learning that the society was in Philadelphia, just a short distance from his home in Pennsylvania, Jim reached out to them. In this version, the members invite him to share his case at a meeting, like a presentation.
Isn't Philadelphia in Pennsylvania?
Yes, that's where Jim lives.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know the town. That's why I said in Pennsylvania. So in this version, he still gets invited to go, but now he's talking in a meeting and a presentation.
Not one-on-one.
Correct.
Okay.
But then afterwards, another Vidocq Society co-founder, Bill Fletcher, spoke to Jim privately. So still a co-founder, just different ones.
Okay.
Fletcher observed Jim's anguish as a distraught father, convinced that his son had been murdered and suspecting Hamilton's involvement. Recognizing Jim's need for assistance, the society took on his case and enlisted crime scene reconstruction expert Tom Bevel for help. So, Tom Bevel, 100%. I don't know who brought him in. I don't know what the fuck happened at Scotland Yard and Dr. Shepherd, because he's not mentioned again. But the same results come up regardless.
Okay.
So Bevel explained that the crime scene reconstruction could be particularly valuable in cases lacking a body, shedding light on what transpired. Despite most of the blood being smeared from the cleanup attempts, Bevel identified some intact spatters. Using a blood-coated object, he recreated the size and shape, determining that they were consistent with blunt force trauma from a weapon like a bat or a pipe.
Oh.
Regardless of who the fuck brought this guy in. His findings in both shows were the same.
Okay.
So
100%.
now we're back in a nice streamline.
Okay.
Bevel identified 3 distinct lines of cast-off blood spatter on the walls, indicating at least 3 to 4 blows delivered by a weapon. To estimate the blood loss, Bevel conducted a blood saturation test.
Ooh.
By replicating the size of the blood stains found in the bedroom, he determined that it took just under 2 units of blood to create the stain and saturate the carpet padding.
2 units?
Yeah.
What's that? Like, what measurement is that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But factoring
2 of them.
Yeah. Factoring the blood spatter, cleanup efforts, and the volume of blood from the stain, it strongly suggested that the victim had indeed died from their injuries.
Okay.
So I forget how much you donate. I don't know. I don't know if it's 2 units or if it's less than that. But usually that's like, I guess, just how they measure like blood. So if like they see a massive blood stain, they can determine, oh, if this person is most likely didn't survive their injuries.
A little less than 1 pint of blood is taken for each whole blood donation. It doesn't talk about units or anything.
Yeah, I think units is like the bigger version. Or like, I don't know. Anyway.
You can donate about a pint or half a liter safely without health risks.
Yeah.
But I guess that also depends on like your body, like how big
Oh,
you are and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's about, yeah.
I don't know what kind of thing units is.
I don't know.
But anyway, a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Most likely didn't survive.
Okay.
No more options at this point.
Okay.
So the information covered by the VDOC Society propelled investigators to initiate a homicide investigation, but they still needed to establish a direct link between Hamilton, Smith, and the crime. Going back over their findings, investigators made a crucial discovery. Some of the hairs found at the crime scene didn't match Scott Dunn's. Tim continued his denial of involvement, but both he and Hamilton provided hair samples for examination.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I lied. There is 2 more options, but it's small.
Okay.
Analysis of the hair samples confirmed a match to the 2 suspects, providing authorities the decisive evidence needed to arrest Hamilton and Smith on murder charges.
Oh, no. Well, obviously Hamilton's hair is going to be there.
Yeah.
Duh.
But, sorry, I should be more specific. In the duct tape.
Oh.
So
well, I have so much hair in that room.
Yes, but Tim's hair and her hair, where they were found on the duct tape in the bedroom,
Okay.
means that they were like both there with their hair hanging over that spot as they put the duct tape.
Okay.
Yeah. But I thought the same thing.
Yeah, because I'm like, the amount of hair that I lose.
Yeah.
It's all over.
From the way they described it, it sounded like because of the specific location it was found in.
Okay.
Basically, like I said before, there's pretty much 2 options as to why this happened.
Okay.
Option 1, prosecutors theorized that when Scott attempted to end his relationship with Hamilton, she reacted with rage, leading to a violent altercation resulting in his death.
Mm-hmm.
Option 2, prosecutors believe that Hamilton's motive was revenge after learning that Scott was engaged to another woman.
Mm-hmm.
They also believe that she was the mastermind behind the whole thing.
Okay.
Both options say that Hamilton enlisted the help of Tim Smith to clean up the scene and dispose of the body.
Okay.
The prosecution said the body was wrapped in carpet, sealed with duct tape, and taken from the apartment.
What I think is odd is like she showed the cops, like, yeah, here's the carpet. Oh, here's what it's covering. Like, oh yeah, go ahead, search the house. Like,
we're about to come back to that in a second. Again, just wait, okay? God.
This would be a really boring show if I didn't talk at all. Well, no, it'd be really interesting, but
I get what you mean. The defense contended the state didn't have a case against Hamilton because they presented no witness and no body. Roy Cooper said, "We got a body. We just haven't been able to find the body."
I like it.
Yeah. That is the body of Roger Scott Dunn. His first name was actually Roger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So for a second, I was like, wait, new character?
The article from the Avalanche Journal shares what jurors told Frank Sorrell, an investigator for defense attorney Richard Wardrop, during Hamilton's 1998 appeal. The jurors' thoughts provide a pretty good picture about like the trial for Hamilton, and I'm assuming something similar for Smith. They were not tried together.
Oh, okay.
So jurors said that there were 2 women on the jury who had believed Hamilton was innocent when deliberations started, but later agreed she was at least an accomplice.
Oh.
The jurors told Sorrell that the other 10 believed Hamilton was guilty of some degree of involvement in Dunn's death. One juror described the possibilities, quote, being the murderer, setting up the murder, having prior knowledge, setting Smith up for it. Another juror said, quote, a gross majority thought she was guilty in some way or another. But jurors also said that there was an agreement Hamilton, quote, couldn't have done it by herself. Part of why some of the jurors felt Hamilton had taken a large part in the crime was efforts to clean up the scene later.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, only a woman would clean like that, one juror told Sorrell, pointing to the crime scene evidence that someone had tried to scrub the walls in the bedroom where the beating occurred with a cleanser.
No.
Right.
Anyone who sees blood on the wall is not going to be like, I'm not a woman, so I'm not going to clean that.
Right.
No.
We're not that far back.
Right.
Another questioned Hamilton's statement that she hadn't noticed what investigators saw as bloodstains on the carpet.
Mm-hmm.
How could you walk around a spot on your carpet that large? A juror commented. The question also caught the attention of at least one judge on the state 7th Court of Appeals. John T. Boyd, who was the court's chief justice when the appeal was heard in 1998, wrote, quote, Scott lived with the appellant, and she was the last person to see him alive, yet she seemed unconcerned about a piece of missing carpet, a patched up piece of carpet, and a fairly considerable amount of blood and splatters in her apartment.
Right.
Jurors said testimony about the blood, not just whose it was, but how much had likely been shed, convinced them that Dunn was dead. I did not do that on purpose, I swear.
That Dunn was done.
That Dunn was dead and shed.
Oh.
But how much had likely been shed convinced them Dunn was dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just turned it into Dunn was done.
Oh,
That's bad too.
Yeah. Okay. Crime scene experts said the victim received, quote, at least 4 medium velocity blows with a hard object based on an analysis of spatter patterns by, who knows, maybe it's Bob. or whatever his name was. Blood cast off the bludgeon as the attacker swung it on the walls and ceiling. One prosecution expert testified that it would take nearly a quart of whole blood, so there you go, a quart of whole blood to soak the carpet enough that there would be seepage into the carpet and the pad beneath. Losing that much blood, a physician testified for the prosecution said could be fatal.
Yeah, because you can donate half a quart, which is a pint.
Okay, there you go.
Right, half a quart is a pint. Yes. Yeah, so you can donate a pint.
Yes.
And be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Anything more than that, not okay.
Okay.
So would this be more than that?
One could imagine ipso facto.
Yes, that's the word I wanted you to say.
Ipso facto?
Yep.
Jim Dunn testified during Hamilton's trial. Savage. He had never heard of Leisha until she called him at his home in Yardley, PA on May 19th, 1991.
And this is who said that?
The dad.
Oh,
it's like no idea who the chick was.
Yeah.
Didn't even know, like, I think from his point of view, like, that's how insignificant she was in his life.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
The DNA evidence investigators recovered in carpet padding from the carpet tack strip show that there was a 1 in a billion chance that the blood did not come from someone who was an offspring of the Dunns.
Wow.
Yeah. I had to rewrite that sentence because it was so confusing. It was like, oh, probability. Subsequently, both Hamilton and Smith were found guilty of murder, so her trial was in 97 and his was in 98.
Even without the body.
Smith got 10 years probation and had to pay a fine of $10,000. Oh, just wait. Hamilton was sentenced to 20 years in prison.
Damn.
The jury didn't believe that Smith was involved in the actual murder, but that he helped cover it up, so they recommended to the judge he get probation.
Wow.
In recognition of his dedication, Jim Dunn was invited to join the VDOC Society to support other parents of murdered victims.
Oh.
An offer he accepted willingly.
I love that.
And at this time, Scott Dunn has a headstone placed in the City of Lubbock Cemetery. So still no body.
Right.
But we're not done. A bag of human remains was dug up in May of 2012 by a couple of maintenance men near the Chaparral Apartments.
Like where bodies should not be.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Scott Dunn lived in an apartment at what was then called Oakwood Club Apartments at 5818 24th Street, and the remains were found at 5802 24th Street.
Oh.
Lubbock County Medical Examiner Dr. Siddhar Natarajan said, quote, "We commenced at the time for the recovery of the remains that were in a shallow type grave. The grave consisted of approximately 4 by 8 feet. Dr. Natarajan says he and other medical experts spent 10 hours recovering 90% of Dunn's bones.
Wow.
He said that they found the remains partially wrapped in a blue vinyl type material. In addition, Dr. Natarajan said there was a comforter type blanket that was present as well as a tattered and broken down sheet. The remains found outside the Chaparral Apartments were in fact identified as Roger Scott Dunn.
Wow.
Dunn's teeth and dental records were key in identifying him, and his skull helped figure out how he was killed.
Oh my God.
Dr. Natarajan said, quote, "In the rebuilding of the skull, we were able to identify traumatic injuries that were present, and it was a blunt trauma type event." So what they would already been saying.
Right.
But the question still remains. Why was his body never found?
Right.
Police just say that Hamilton and Smith did a really good job of covering it up.
Wow.
Lubbock Chief of Police Ellis said, quote, "The suspects did a good job at concealing the body. We also depend on others to help others. Over the period of 21 years, we hope we are doing things better now than we did back then." District Attorney Matt Powell explained, "I think the last place you would look or think they would bury a body was right there in the complex."
Right. That's what I was thinking. Like, why would you do it right there?
Right. The way that was set up, there were multiple fences where law enforcement really didn't have the right to search for a body. Because they obviously searched for him.
Right. But you can't be digging up everything.
Right. Even though the relentless searches never came up with a body, police are happy to say that the case is finally closed.
Dang.
Some say that maybe there was a third person because the where it was found was very, very shallow. And some were saying it didn't seem like it seemed like the body was just put there. Buried very shallow, which means people are thinking it was brought back later. Where was it this whole time?
Right. Especially because, like, if it was buried shallow, someone probably would have found that a lot easier.
And, like, they were both he wasn't in jail. So I guess it could have been him, but
she was.
She was in jail, but he never went to jail.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
So both of his parents released a statement. So his father said, quote, "After 21 years of heartache, the moment of truth has finally come for the Dunn family with the discovery of Scott Dunn's buried remains. Tremendous credit goes to all those who fought for justice and kept Scott in their prayers. Today, those prayers have been answered and Scott can be laid to rest." Sorry, just thinking of Joe. Potato is too hot.
We're cooking as we're recording, and we didn't know if the potatoes were done, so Joe took a bite of one of the potatoes, and the first 2 bites were fine, and then after that, you could tell it was really hot. It was so funny.
I'm not laughing at this.
That's why I want people to know the context so they don't think that you're laughing about these parents' words about their child.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm just laughing at Joe. Today, those prayers have been answered and Scott can be laid to rest. It appears now with certainty 2 people knew precisely where Scott's body was hidden and they lied to try to protect themselves. Their murder convictions give some justice for Scott and the family. No matter what, all I ever wanted was to find Scott's remains, give him a proper burial, and try to find some closure for the family. Now in time, we hope to do just that.
Aww.
His mom said, "All the years my boys were growing up in Dallas, I could never go to sleep at night until they were both home and I knew they were safe.
Yep.
Scott's brother, Tony, and I have struggled to accept Scott's death over these past many years, and the recovery of his remains is finally bringing us some peace of mind, knowing that we will now be able to bring him to his final resting place. This means more to us than words could ever express.
Ugh.
I was never sure this day would come, but we are always so grateful to the entire Lubbock Police Department, especially Sergeant Tall English, for always being there to answer all our questions and for never giving up on Scott's case. We also would like to thank Pam Alexander of the Lubbock Victims Assistance Services for following the case for so many years and for helping us through the most difficult situation a family can face." As of today. So Tim Smith completed probation in 2008, according to court records.
Wow.
Neither of the prosecutors who argued both of the cases are alive today. Ladd was the lead prosecutor in both cases, and he died in September of 2011. And Carper, who also assisted in both cases, died in Midland in 2008. A 3-judge panel of the state 7th Court of Appeals in Amarillo unanimously denied Hamilton's appeal in 1998. She was first eligible for parole in 1999, which doesn't sound right, and again in 2009. Both had been denied. She had another hearing in March 2013, and the DA said that they were going to object her early release. January 2016, Leisha Hamilton is approved for early release.
Wow.
March 2016, there's like a statement on her record that says like she's going to be moved to the rehabilitation program, and she will be released to parole on or after completion and not earlier than 3 months from the specified date of March 2016.
Wow.
By June 2016, she was released from prison.
Wow.
So, on July 18th, 2019, there was a public hearing to, quote, "give interested persons the opportunity to present statements regarding proposed modifications to the Minnesota sentencing guidelines and commentary."
Why Minnesota?
I don't know.
Okay.
Resulting from legislative amendments, non-legislative amendments, and technical corrections. So Terry Grusbeck and Mr. X, aka Jim Dunn, it's very obvious that it's fucking him. So this is the gist of the proposal, which I think is a good one. Mr. Grusbeck spoke about a proposal to modify Minnesota sentencing guidelines for convicted murderers. The proposal is to adopt the United Kingdom's new Helen's Law. Helen's Law provides that no convicted murderer who has not disclosed the location of the decedent's body may be granted probation or parole of any form until they disclose that location.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? His proposal would require that any conviction for any form of murder under any classification in Minnesota statutes, criminal code, be given a minimum mandatory life sentence if the murderer has not revealed the location of the body.
I like that.
Also, the offender would not be allowed consideration of any form of executive clemency unless the offender disclosed the location of the decedent's body.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what came of that.
Wow, I like that though.
Yeah. So there's an email from Jim Dunn to Mr. Grusbeck that I think kind of sums up the fuckery of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was July 8th, 2019. "Hi, Terry. Thanks for your interesting email regarding the new UK law. Yes, it would be a godsend for the US. I would like to follow up on your suggestion, but at this point, I'm going to pass." So he asked him if he could be kind of like the face of it,
Oh.
given everything that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Leisha is out walking the streets of Dallas free as a bird, married to a prison mate, James Cockerham. Really disgusting. "I have promised my wife not to involve myself in anything that might stir up Leisha. So Leisha has promised that she wants revenge on me.
What? Oh my God.
I'm not too concerned, but my wife has had enough. 3 TV shows have asked me to participate and I had to turn them down.
Oh my gosh.
Now, if you are someone else who can move the effort forward with the Minnesota Attorney General, and I could add in, I would consider that, just not be the lead person. Let me know if things can develop in this needed situation. All the best, Mr. X."
Wow.
And that is the kind of, sort of, maybe story of the murder of Scott Dunn.
I think you told it so well.
Thank you.
I really liked how you told it.
I had to put in everything because I was like, I don't know if it's just one of those things where like all the information's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that this show happened to share this information and this show
Right.
happened to share this information.
No, I liked the way you told it.
Thank you.
I don't think it's fair she's walking
No.
free. Like, how? How?
Overcrowding? I have no idea.
Jeez.
Granted, if she was the 20 years, it would be coming up soon.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still.
No, I know.
I feel like for murder.
Yeah, she definitely should have at least been in there the whole time if she's only going to get 20 years.
Or just forever.
Well, that too. But I think the reason I never found whether it was murder 1, murder 2, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I wonder if because they didn't have a body, that's why
Ugh.
it was really hard to find information about the trial themselves.
Yeah.
So.
And you can't be tried twice for the same crime.
It was hard as hell to even find. I knew she had been paroled. I was like, I need to know the date. I need to know when. Like, I had to find it in the document that talked about the new law that they were proposing. Like, that's where I found it.
Jeez.
It was a pain in the ass to try to find. All the articles that popped up were about finding the body, which is great. That's obviously also important. But then even when I tried to type in her name, I looked at both of our newspaper things. It was not possible to find. So there's still a lot more that I would have loved to have talked about with this. Some of the comments on a blog I found were people claiming to know each of these people, which I thought was interesting. There was other stuff in that document that like was part of the investigation that neither show mentioned.
Right.
But I'm already at 15 pages.
Right.
And we have to go eat. So you can go into our show notes, go to our Works Cited, and you can do the research yourself.
Well, nicely done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nicely done.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
No, done.
Oh.
Yours was awesome. Yours was also very nicely done.
Nicely D-U-N-N.
Yeah. Yours was nicely D-O-N-E. Mine was nicely D-U-N-N.
There we go.
There we go.
And we forgot to say it at the beginning.
Yes, we did.
But rate and review us.
Please.
Send us emails to ascarystatepodcast@gmail.com.
Follow us on social media.
And stay scary.
Stay safe.